Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wizzo Talk. Why Wizzo Talk? Because I want to know, don't you? Here at Wizzo Talk, we'll play it like you said, uncut and unedited. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the hot topics yet to come. You'd like to be a guest on the show? Hit me up in the comments. You have a hot topic you'd like to hear discussed? Hit me up in the comments. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about Jeff Hamilton. Yes, you can Google him, but what my guest is going to talk to you about, it's going to be the untold stories of Jeff Hamilton. You haven't heard it anywhere like that. Everybody talk about how Google and ChatGPT know everything. Well, they don't know what he's going to tell you. I guarantee you that. So if you guys love history, you love old time history, you love a little bit about listening to about a little bit of slavery, you like to learn and hear about how Jeff Hamilton was sold on the auction block for whatever. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let my guest tell you about that. So at this time, my guest is going to do his own intro, and then we're going to come on back and get you guys talking about a little history about Jeff Hamilton. So don't go anywhere. This is something you really don't want to miss. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Larry Womack, one of Jeff Hamilton's descendants. Jeff Hamilton was born April the 16th.
All righty. Okay, before we get off into there, let me get him primed up one more time. Because I'm telling you guys, you don't want to miss this. And in the background here, he's going to explain this picture also. This is a photo of Jeff Hamilton. So I'm going to let him go on and get off into it. I'm going to mute my mic. And guys, I'm telling you, it's something that you don't want to miss. So it's also, just always remember, it's free to subscribe and it's free to share. I appreciate your support. Go on, get them with it there.
All right. I was cut off there for a second. I'll start over. Jeff Hamilton is my great-grandfather. Jeff Hamilton's son was my grandfather. His name was John Luther Hamilton. I never remembered seeing him, but Jeff Hamilton had 11 kids. I need to start from the start. Jeff Hamilton was born in Kentucky, April the 16th, 1840. That's when he was born. And the Singleton Gibson family owned him. It was slavery time. Singleton Gibson couldn't pay his whiskey bill, so he moved from Kentucky to Fort Benning County, Texas, around Huntsville. It's got a big statue of Sam Houston down there on the Interstate 45. That's where the auction block was, right there in that area. Sam Houston, Singleton Gibson placed Jeff Hamilton on an auction block when he was 8 years old. But when he moved to Fort Benning County, Jeff Hamilton was 3. 5 years later, he was put on an auction block because Singleton Gibson couldn't pay his whiskey bill, so he put one of his slaves' kids on the auction block, which was my great-grandfather, Jeff Hamilton. The one that was born April the 16th, 1840. He died April the 3rd, 1941. I never seen him. But I knew of him, but I never seen him. But I was just 1 year old. But he died April the 3rd, 1941. And he was with Sam Houston at the Houston family. But Sam Houston passed in 1863. But after Sam Houston passed in 1863, Jeff Hamilton left the Houston family and moved to Bell County. He came to Temple first, but it wasn't no Temple. It was called Tanglefoot. Okay. Tanglefoot was the Native American named it Tanglefoot because it didn't have any trees. They just had tumbleweeds and vines. Jeff Hamilton planted the first tree in Bell County, started trees to being planted everywhere. And Sam Houston's grandson came to Temple. Sam Houston's great-grandson came to Temple with Jeff Hamilton because Sam Houston said, always make sure that Jeff Hamilton has got a job, because when he purchased him off the auction block as a playmate for his kids, then he raised him up as a member of his family. Taught him how to read and write, use knife, forks, and spoons. Taught him lots of things. And then Sam Houston's kids and his kids' made sure that Jeff Hamilton had a job. So Jeff Hamilton left the Houston family after Sam Houston passed in 1863. After he passed with the pneumonia, Jeff Hamilton was right there with him. He stayed with him everywhere he went. Jeff Hamilton was his, they call it his body service boy. I can't remember exactly what they called him, but anyway, he serviced Sam Houston, kept it clean around him all the time, like throwing red carpet out for the king to walk on and stuff like that. But he didn't throw out no red carpet, but he kept it clean around him.
Right.
Okay, but he had little notes when he went to speak with Abraham Lincoln. He had little notes of what they were talking about, and they were talking about freeing the slaves in 1863. They were talking about freeing the slaves. Okay. Sam Houston got the pneumonia in 1863, and he didn't make it. But those notes, what Sam Houston was throwing on the ground, and Jeff Hamilton was picking them up, supposed to have been trash. It was trash to Sam Houston, but to Jeff Hamilton, he wanted to know what it said on that paper. So he took that paper and he laid on in the years. He came to Bell County, and then Sam Houston's grandson, great-grandson was with him, Temple Houston Moore was with him, and made sure that Jeff Hamilton got a job. He got a job right there at Mary Hardin Baylor in Belton. Mary Hardin Baylor. It was an all-girls school, segregation days. Didn't no blacks go there, period. It was all whites. And black people back in those days, they wasn't supposed to look at white women, they supposed to look down. Or white men, either one, you're supposed to look down when they came by. So that's why I have some pictures of Jeff Hamilton looking down when they took pictures of him back in the day. But anyway, when he was taking pictures of him, my mind is running 100 miles an hour.
That's all right. Take your time. Go ahead. It's okay. It'll come to you.
Okay. Jeff Hamilton kept those notes when he picked up that trash where Sam Houston threw it on the ground. He kept them notes, and later on in the years, Jeff Hamilton had 11 kids. And one of his daughters, named Lina Grays, I used to talk to her about 3 times out of a week. She was born February 15th, 1883. And she lived right on the same street I lived on, Avenue D. And she had a little black hospital right there on Avenue D and 18th and Avenue D. And that's where she lived. And it was right next to the hospital. It was on one side of the street. And she lived on the other side of the street. The little blue house is still there today where she used to live. And after Jeff Hamilton got sick, he was living in Belton. But after he got sick, and he came to Temple and stayed with his daughter, which was named Lina Grays. She was a nurse. And she would always try and take care of all of the blacks that had little problems, like delivering babies or cuts or bruises or whatever. She'd always take care of all of that. Sometimes she had problems. So Sam Houston's great-grandson was there with her a lot of times. He made sure that she had a hospital for the blacks. Okay. King Daughter's Hospital was over there on 22nd. That big old red building, they called MHMR, probably called that today. Might be done changed the name, but anyway, it was MHMR. But that used to be King Daughter's Hospital. And King Daughter's Hospital opened up over there in 1899. And Lina Grays used to get in the wagon and take patients over to the hospital, and Sam Houston's grandson was with her to make sure that they had a chance to really be able to take care of the problems that the young American Negroes had. That's what we would call back in the day, American Negroes. But nowadays they call them black, they had African American, all that stuff, but we're American Negroes. That's what we really are. We were born in America. But anyway, Jeff Hamilton's daughter, Lina Grays, take the patients over there, and the little problem that she had that she didn't understand, they'd help her with it, and Sam Houston's grandson was with her, and then they would come back to the hospital. It was in a wagon. There wasn't no cars back in them days. It was in a wagon and a mule and a horse, but I'm not really sure. Might have been 2 mules. But anyway, she got in the wagon and took them over there to King Daughter Hospital, got them. They helped her, and then she brought them back. It's the segregation days. Is the reason why the whites didn't work on the blacks back in those days. But Lina Grays, she was born February 15, 1883, and she died April the 13th April 13, 1976. And I had them twin boys in 76, and she wanted to see them, and she used to always talk about them. And my wife and I used to go over to see Aunt Lina and talk to her and tell her a lot about it. And my wife was expecting with them twins at the time, and that was in 75 or 76. They were born in 76, but I think we started over there in 75. But anyway, she always said she wanted to see them twins. But she went in the hospital on the 13th, and she didn't make it out of the hospital. She passed on. But my wife had the kids on the 14th, Eric and Derek, twin boys. Aunt Lina never got a chance to see them, but she really wanted to see them, but she never got a chance to see them. But Lina Graves, that was her name, and she was a nurse, and a lot of people, and the only person I've talked to about that hospital that knew anything about it. And this lady is 109 years old, and she's still living today. Her name is Hattie Mae Allen. She was born June the 8th, 1914. And she's 109 today. And she's the only somebody I knew that I've talked to that knew anything about that hospital. Everybody said, well, the first black hospital was Cole Anderson. Well, I knew about Cole Anderson too. I got pictures of her and her husband too. And she married a black man. She's a white lady, married a black man. Cole Anderson.
Yeah, we talked about her in the other one. I remember talking about her. So
okay.
Yes, And let me ask you this. Now I know that it's a historical marker in Belton of Jeff Hamilton, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's got a historical marker right there at Mary Hardin Baylor. Jeff Hamilton stayed there at Mary Hardin Baylor for 50 years. He worked there for 50 years. Didn't nobody hardly know nothing about Jeff Hamilton in Belton, because I went over there, and Genevieve and I both went over there together and talked to a lady. She was a white lady. She was 90-some years old. And we was trying to find out where Jeff Hamilton's house was. We knew what the house looked like, but see if the house was still standing. So we asked this lady. The lady worked at Belton Journal, I think that's the name of the newspaper. Well, she worked over there for years. She retired from there. She was 90-some years old. Well, we talked to her, and we was asking her about where the house was where Jeff Hamilton lived. She said, well, he lived over in Colortown, over around Pearl Street, over in that area. That's why that was Colortown. But Genevieve and I, we weren't satisfied with that. We went for the research further. Come to find out, Jeff Hamilton lived right there in the white part of town, right behind Mary Hardin Baylor. And he'd walk to work. It wasn't even a block. He lived right behind Mary Hardin Baylor over there. And that's where Jeff Hamilton used to live. And we got pictures. I got pictures of him in the school. And I just got lots of pictures too. I'd like to show a lot of people. Documentation of 80% of whatever I tell you. My niece, Stacy, has got the rest of it, and her brother, Reggie, them Genevieve kids, they got the rest of that stuff. I had 100% of documentation everything I tell you about. Right. But I don't have it now.
Yeah, that's okay. So the people that's watching through the camera, I'm out on location, so you can't really see this photo, but there's a photo right here, and I'll show it to you right here.
Okay.
And then if you can just tell them about that special guest of Governor James Allure.
Yeah, that's Jeff Hamilton. He was special guest for Governor Johnson and Roosevelt in 1936.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that picture is Jeff Hamilton is in the middle, and his daughter, Lina Graves, is right there to his right.
Right.
And then her husband is sitting over there on the far end.
Okay.
And that's Jeff Hamilton's pastor on this other end over here.
Right.
That's his pastor.
Okay. And go ahead.
He was special guest in 1936, right there in Austin.
Right. And now right up here at the top, I'll show it to you, and then I'll show the people right here. If you can see that one where it said 1940.
Okay.
And that's saying family and friends in Temple in 1940.
Yeah.
And it looked like that's Jeff Hamilton right there in the center.
That's him sitting
right
down.
here in the chair. That's
Jeff Hamilton sitting right there in the middle. And right behind him is John Cockrell. People know Skip Cockrell, and they know John Cockrell, but their daddy was named George Cockrell. Jeff Hamilton married George Cockrell's, which was Skip's and John Harvey Cockrell and George Cockrell. Then Jeff Hamilton married their mama. And that's how the Cockrells became kind of a little bit related to the Womacks.
Right.
By marriage.
Right.
And, okay. And to Jeff Hamilton right in that picture, to his right, that's Cora Anderson and her husband. That's Cora Anderson, the lady right there by George Cockrell.
Right.
And right next to George Cockrell is Cora Anderson's husband, the black man standing right there.
Right.
That's Cora Anderson's husband, and that's her right next to him.
Right.
And those other two guys were some of Jeff Hamilton's friends, but I didn't really know their name, but I'd seen them. But I didn't ever really know their name. But they were friends and family of Jeff Hamilton.
Right. Now this here, for those of you that's watching the video and not just listening to the audio, this right here in the middle is Jeff Hamilton. This picture is 1940. Now he was a slave of General Sam Houston.
Yep.
And he was sold on the auction block at 8 years old or something like that.
In 1848.
To pay a whiskey bill.
Yeah, to pay a whiskey bill. Senator Gibson family sold him to pay his whiskey bill.
Yeah, right.
Sam Houston purchased him.
Right. So
he freed him.
Exactly. So, and this here, guys, I'm telling you, that's why I say you're not going to find this on Google or Chat GTP. You're just not. This is untold history right here of Jeff Hamilton. And so now I'm going to turn it to this other side. I'm going to show you first right here.
That's Jeff Hamilton's family right there.
And
Jeff Hamilton, that's where he lived, that big house. And that's Lionel Grace, his daughter. And that's her husband right there behind him.
Right.
Yeah, that's his little old dog.
His little dog.
Can't remember his name.
Right, that's all right. And this is 1930 in Belton. I got that glare, y'all. I'm out on location, so you can't really see it that well on the camera. But this is in 1940. This is Jeff Hamilton. We talking about history. This was a slave. This here is pictures, in history that you just not going to find anywhere. So y'all stay tuned. We got just a little bit more, so stay with us. So I'm going to show you this picture here first, down here.
Okay, they was right there, and they was in Dallas on that picture.
This picture here.
Yeah,
so this was in Dallas.
That's Sam Houston's grandson, Temple Houston Moore. It's right there with Jeff Hamilton. They standing right there in Dallas at the museum right there in Dallas.
And it's in 1936. That right there, Sam Houston.
Yeah.
Yes, and Jeff Hamilton right there. And you say that was his son. So some of y'all, I'm sorry about that picture. That's about the best because I got my lighting and it's kind of got the glare. But I'm gonna put this one back up for Jeff Hamilton right here because I got something to ask about this one. So you guys and everybody can still see it if it don't fall on me.
Can they see that little article right there?
No, they can't see that. That's a little bit too small.
Oh, okay.
But I will ask you now, I remember going with you and my Aunt Genevieve to different schools. So about how many schools would you say this photo right here of Jeff Hamilton is in Temple?
We put them in 3 schools in Belton, and we put them in Hector P. Garcia in Temple. Temple High School, they didn't accept it. And one of the places in Belton didn't really accept it because it was too far back.
Right.
And they didn't say that, though.
Right.
But they didn't accept it, didn't want to accept it. But after he found out more about it, then I guess his boss or something, I don't know.
Right.
But they kind of weren't accepted. So we put pictures of this picture right here.
Right here.
In the Belton school, in the elementary schools.
Right.
But we didn't go to the high school because they didn't seem like they really wanted the stuff like that in the high school because it was Black history.
Right, exactly. Right. Now on this inscription that you guys can't see, I'm going to just read it. Let me put my mic over here so I can go and read it. And that's saying, Jeff Hamilton, personal servant and confidant to General Sam Houston, first president of Texas, of the Republic of Texas. That is what their little inscription, and I believe that's on all of the photos that y'all delivered to all of the schools around. Right. So talking about that, Jeff Hamilton, guys, sold on the auction block to pay a whiskey bill at 8 years old.
Yep, that's right.
That is crazy. So I know that We talked about the historical marker, but we went to the cemetery in Belton, and what was that? Was that a landmark? What was that out there?
Oh, okay. The Daughters of the Republican of Texas. Were you with us?
I was with you. I didn't bring the picture in because it's in the trunk, but the viewers won't be able to see it. But I saw it in the truck.
Oh, when you was with us at the,
I was with you
at the gate?
at the gate when we took a picture right by the, I don't know, the monument or whatever it was there.
East Belton Cemetery.
Yes,
That's where it is, right at the front right there. They had to bring that big marker in with a front end loader because it's a big rock. And the big rock, when car lights hit it, it glows in the dark, just like down there on Interstate 45, where when car lights hit the Sam Houston statue, it's 77 feet in the air. When the car lights hit it, some people think it's a ghost in the air, them truck drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard them talking. The other guys have told me the same thing.
Right.
But it's a big statue down there on Interstate 45, right there in Huntsville. And it's right down there. That's why the auction block was right there in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff Hamilton, that's why Sam Houston purchased Jeff Hamilton off the auction block right there. 1848.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Hamilton was 8 years old. But I made a mistake on that some kind of way. Let me see. When I said that Jeff Hamilton, when he left the Houston family in 1863, I want to correct that. I said he was 27 years old, but he wasn't. He was 23.
Oh.
Yeah, because see, my figuring was messed up because of that COVID-19 messed up my mind.
Right.
It messed up with my reading and my counting and everything.
Right.
I kind of lost it, but it's slowly coming back to me.
Right. That's okay. That's good. Yeah.
But that big rock. But now, we had another mark. We got another mark at the gravesite. Well, you wasn't with me then, were you?
I wasn't with y'all on that one
I
there.
had a big picture of it in the back of the car.
Right.
Well, all of us were together. Had the Daughters of the Republican of Texas. All them was white.
Right.
They put this big marker, marker for Jeff Hamilton headstone at the gravesite.
At the gravesite.
He already had a historical marker there.
Right.
Down there by his feet. But they put this other one up there by his head.
Yeah,
the Daughters of the Republican. I wish I could show you a picture of it.
That's all right. My viewers won't be able to see it because of my podcast is not that high tech where my camera could zoom in on everything right there yet. And plus, some of them will probably just listen to the audio or something like that anyway. But that's okay. And so I know that here in Temple, also over on the east side, there's a I don't want to say a recreation center, but it used to be. Where a medical over by the swimming pool. What was that over there?
On 14th Street.
By the
railroad track.
No, not by the tracks. Over by on Curtis B. Elliott here in Temple. Used to be a medical center. It was over by the park, not down on 14, but over further on the east side.
That's Jeff Hamilton.
That's in Jeff Hamilton in his name also, but I can't remember what. I know they used to go there for medical, but I don't remember what else.
Yeah, but see, way before then, it was a place where we went to have, parties or whatever,
Okay.
But later on, they put some kind of medical,
Right.
Put some kind of medical center where you can get free shots or free dental work or whatever,
Right.
They put a lot of that stuff in.
Right. And that was named after Jeff Hamilton. That building over there is named after Jeff Hamilton.
It's right up across the front there.
Right.
Jeff Hamilton building.
Right. Okay, so that's all right.
And down there by the park, I don't know if I told you this or not, but on 14th Street, did I talk to you about
We talked about 14, but go ahead.
Okay. It was a water treatment plant there first, and that big old white building there, that was the recreation center. W. Goodrich Jones gave the land to the city, provided they named it Jeff Hamilton Park and Jeff Hamilton Swimming Pool. They gave that land to the city, provided they named it Colored Recreation Center.
Okay.
It was Colored Recreation Center first, but later on in the year they changed it to Jeff Hamilton Recreation Center. And I got pictures of that.
Right.
A big Coke bottle on this end, a big Coke bottle on that end, and right in the middle it said Colored Recreation Center.
Right. I remember something about that, and I know when I was growing up, we used to go over there and have parties over there because it was open. But And we showed a picture in one of our other sessions where all of the black people was around there when the pool was getting ready to open and all that stuff. And that was, but where I'm going with this is all this was named after Jeff Hamilton in his name.
That's right.
And looking at this picture right here with this book in his hand, which was against breaking the law, reading that book because they didn't want blacks to read. Now, you know, I'm going to tell you the funny thing about that is, now, we couldn't read back then. They didn't want us to read, and we was trying to read. Mm-hmm. Now, here this day and time is we can read, and they don't want to read.
Yep.
I don't know. But anyway, but that's just something that I'm showing you guys for those that you can see. You know, here he is, Jeff Hamilton. Now, I believe it may have been a couple years ago I told you about it. I don't know if you got to see it or not, but Oprah Winfrey was interviewing some descendants of Jeff Hamilton on TV. I think it was Oprah. I may not be sure. I can't be sure. But you didn't get to see that. But they probably don't even know about us down here in Temple because they was probably from somewhere else up north or somewhere. So hopefully they out there get to see this information, see that, because we have actual photos that I know that they probably don't even have because it's not out. They're not out there on Google.
I got them from Lana Graves.
Right.
She got them from Jeff Hamilton. Jeff Hamilton got a bunch of them from Sam Houston. Sam Houston born in 1793 and 1863. Oh, he had a lot of stuff. And Lana had a whole lot of stuff that he had. Right. She got 4-story building over at that house where she used to live.
Yeah.
I guarantee you it's got some history. She probably still got them notes where Jeff Hamilton was picking up when they were discussing freeing the slaves.
Right.
I knew she had them. I never seen them, but she said she had them.
Right.
Yeah, she had no reason to lie to me because she was telling me all this stuff about Jeff Hamilton and Sam Houston connection. And that's how I knew about this, knowing about the slaves being freed in 1863.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Sam Houston passed in 1863, and that's when they were discussing freeing the slaves.
Right.
But he got the pneumonia and passed on.
Passed on.
Yeah.
That's all right.
But Aunt Lana, you know, later on in the years, and her other sister and brother, then they could read and write or whatever, you know, and it wasn't against the law for them because they were free.
Right.
But see, Jeff Hamilton was free in 1848.
All right.
When Sam Houston bought him, he freed him. And he believed in paying his workers. He didn't call them slaves. He never put them in no chains or nothing. But I see books today said Jeff Hamilton was in chains. Like this book that says My Master, they got on the front of it. Jeff Hamilton and Sam Houston connection. Jeff Hamilton got chains on it.
Yeah.
Jeff Hamilton never wore no chain.
Yeah. Well, we already know how the history, I don't even know the word for it, but they're not really showing us the true history. Yeah. That's why I'm saying what he's giving you right now is coming from one of Jeff Hamilton's descendants.
That's right.
Or, you know, from his daughter, was it?
Yeah, his daughter,
Lana Graves. That's what I thought you were saying, his daughter, but I had kind of lost the train of thought for a second or so. So that's how that's all coming about right there, not knowing how to read and then taught himself how to read.
Yeah.
I believe you had told me about that at one time, how he taught himself how to read.
Yeah, and then his kids and his kids was helping Jeff Hamilton learn how to read and stuff.
11 kids.
Yeah. Jeff Hamilton had 11 kids. Yeah. I didn't never really know all of them.
Right.
But I sure know Aunt Lana because she lived right down the street from me.
Right down here in Temple.
That was his daughter, the one that was born February 15, 1883.
Right. So over there in Belton at University of Mary Hardin Baylor, he has a landmark over there because he worked over there as a janitor.
Yeah.
Or something like that for what, you say 50 years?
50 years.
50 years over there.
Yeah. And he lived right behind Mary Hardin Baylor. He ain't living in no color town.
Yeah.
Where they used to say blacks live in the bottom, across the track and everything.
Oh, that, yeah.
Jeff Hamilton lived in places to where the white people live.
Okay.
It's one more thing I need to tell you.
Tell him.
Okay. It's got a big marker down there. I don't know if any of y'all ever been to Jeff Hamilton Park or not, but it's got a marker down there. Says Jeff Hamilton Park, a big rock. And it's got on it, it says Jeff Hamilton Parks and Recreation. Okay, on the back of it, the article of Sam Houston and Jeff Hamilton connection was on the back of that rock. Genevieve and I went down there. The white people put that on there. The city guys put that on the back of that rock. And the reason why I think they put it on there because they didn't want anybody to see it. But all this stuff what I be talking about was on that rock. It was on the back of that rock. And they put it down real low. And the first time I seen it, I had to get down almost on my knees to be able to see it. And I told Genevieve, I said, we got to do something about this. I said, now, when old folks get down, they can't get up. So they're going to have to get this thing and put it up out here by the walkway, like when you're walking into the park, put it right by the sidewalk.
Right.
And make it big so we can look down on it instead of getting down low to be able to see it and then can't get up.
Yeah.
I told Genevieve. Genevieve said, we're going to do something about that. So we went and talked to old Ken Sikora.
Yeah.
Ken Sikora and old Kevin Beavers, you know, they was over Parks and Recreation back then. And now Chuck Round is kind of over now, so he helps me out a lot. Right. But now this marker that we got there with this connection of Sam Houston and Jeff Hamilton connection, Genevieve and I wrote a lot of that stuff and got a lot of pictures of the swimming pool inside of that building where we used to play dominoes and cards and box and ping pong, all that stuff inside of that building. A big white building that was down there that they tore down.
Yeah. I remember that big building that used to be down there. Now, just to let everyone know, that marker that you're talking about is in Temple, Texas, on 14th Street, I believe.
It's on 14th Street.
It's on 14th Street. It's in Temple, Texas, on 14th Street.
This address is 501 South 14th.
Okay. 501 South 14th in Temple, Texas. If you guys want to see that marker that he was just talking about. And we also talked about the one that's at the cemetery in Belton, Texas.
East Belton Cemetery.
East Belton Cemetery. Now that right there you can Google, because you'll find that on Google. But all the other stuff that he just mentioned about the Daughters of the Republic of Texas out there giving that marker and stuff, you're not going to really find all that on there like that.
And they were all white.
And they was all white.
Spirit.
Yeah. What you say? It was all white too.
And all of the rest. People that seem like they admire me and talk about me, and some of them think I'm a racist, but they don't understand I'm not no racist. I just talk about the segregation days. Right,
and ain't nothing wrong with that, because that's something that they didn't want us to know. So I'm just going to recap on this picture right here. This is Jeff Hamilton. Put it up here. I mean, we already talked about it, but I was just showing them, and this is Jeff Hamilton right here in the middle, right here. This picture was taken in 1940. And that's Jeff Hamilton.
Friends and family.
Friends and family. And then we have another one down here taken in 1936.
Special guest. 1936 with Roosevelt and Johnson.
Right. And this is the actual picture of Jeff Hamilton. And you can look on this picture. You can see him with that big old bushy mustache and them glasses, what they call spectacles then. And then we already talked about this one. Yeah. But that is the family. If I get that up there a little bit.
His daughter,
in 1930 in Belton. Jeff Hamilton, his daughter, the dog, and her husband.
Right there in Belton, his house right there in the front yard.
Right, in Belton, Texas. And then down here on the bottom, you talked about that one. That was in 1936. And this is Jeff Hamilton, and he's with Sam Houston's grandson.
Yeah, Temple Houston Moore.
In 1936 is when that photo was taken. Told y'all wasn't going to see none of this right here. You're not going to catch this right here on no Google, whatever. So that just kind of just getting ready to close everything out. But is there anything that you can kind of think of that you might want them to know about Jeff Hamilton or about his descendants or about anything else that you might come? Now, I know everything is turning and twisting up in there.
Oh, like you wouldn't believe.
But and we're not going to cover it all, but we cover quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
And if you guys, y'all can check out, we on there, Untold History of Temple, Texas. We on there also. My guess is the L.J. Womack, Larry Womack, a.k.a. Tootie, is talking about different growing up in Temple, Texas in the 1940s. And then we have another one on there called Untold History of Temple, Texas. So y'all go to Wizzo Talk and check that out, because I'm guarantee you, if you love history, true history, you're going to love it.
It off of no paper.
No, and you can see that he's got it all up in there. So, but so just to... I can't just get over about him being sold on the auction block at 8 years old to pay a whiskey bill.
Yeah, that's
right. That was something right there.
He was up there. Jeff Hamilton was up there just crying. He didn't want to leave.
Right.
He was up there crying. A lot of people felt sorry for him, but he was taking him away from his family. But it happened.
That's the way it was during those days and those times. And just to recap one more time, this picture of Jeff Hamilton reading this book in his rocking chair. Is in probably 8 or 10 schools probably around here, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that, in between Temple and Belton, counting the elementaries and stuff like that. Now, so if you ever walk into one of these schools, you'll see that photo and that picture, and you can kind of relate to this story about it.
And I needed to put that article around each one of them pictures, but I didn't do it.
Right.
You know what about the connection?
Right. Yes.
I didn't put all that down.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you'll get around to it. You know, guys, again, this is Wizzo Talk. So it's free to subscribe. It's free to share. Appreciate your love and support. And before we close on out, that about all you got? You want to end with something else? You just turn it up in there. If not, we'll have another session and we'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it.
We're going to come back to it. Well, that works for me. Guys, I'm telling you, you're not going to find this anywhere other than right here on Wizzo Talk, the true untold history of Jeff Hamilton. Finding out about his descendants sold on the auction block. How when you hear Womack, well, I'm gonna go and say my dad, because so when you hear my dad talk about Genevieve, that's his sister. So him and his sister, and I was with him on a couple of other journeys and stuff like that when they was displaying and donating this picture of Jeff Hamilton in the certain schools. Now, I wasn't with them when some of the other schools didn't really want to accept it, but I think they wound up maybe accepting it later. I think you said after they got a little bit more history about it or something.
Some of them did.
Some of them did. So the reason why they wouldn't, well, we can all draw our own conclusions of it, but the thing about it is it's true history.
One more thing I wanted to tell you.
What's that?
Okay, I don't know if I told you this or not, but Jeff Hamilton used to sit over at the county seat, right in front of the county seat, sit out in the front of it and talk about his life history. And it might be one person come over and go to listening to him. Mm-hmm. Make a long story short, next thing you know, he got 25 or 30 people sitting there listening to him talk about his growing up with Sam Houston. He said he never started really living until Sam Houston purchased him off the auction block when he was 8 years old. As a playmate for his kids, and then later on, he raised him up as a member of his family. And he always told his kids, and his kids told their kids told them, to make sure that Jeff Hamilton always had a job.
Right.
And that's how that came about.
That's how that, right.
Yeah.
Outstanding right there. That's truly outstanding. All righty. Well, we're going to about end it out, and if something else come back to you, then we'll save it for the next episode or something like that, because I know you have plenty going on up in there.
Well, that might be running 100 miles an hour.
Right. And y'all notice that he didn't read any of this down from anywhere. He still have it all up there.
Yeah.
And that's something, men in his 80s like he is.
One more thing. Jeff Hamilton was the first free black man, American Negro, to come to Temple in 1863. He was the first one.
Right.
Yeah. But now he wasn't born in Temple.
Right.
But Mr. Sidney Griffin was born in Temple. He was born in 1881 when they named Temple.
1881. All right. True. Untold history.
Yeah. Mr. Sidney Griffin and his wife were named Miss Betty.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be dog.
We ain't gonna get into that.
Okay, we're gonna say that for another time. Everybody, I thank y'all for watching. Appreciate it. Your love and support. And remember, it's free to subscribe. It's free to share. And I am Paul Wizzo. Holla at your boy. And we up out here.